This is #Africa. In Central Africa, ongoing violence in Cameroon's Anglophone region has forced hundreds of schools to close, leaving thousands of children without access to an education.
Priscilla Ngumche is getting ready to go to school for the first time in 2 years. The 19-year-old is from Kumba, the second largest English-speaking city in Cameroon, where separatists have been fighting for a breakaway state. She and her brothers had to flee their home because of the violence. They now live in a small room in Douala, the country's economic capital, supported from afar by their parents.
I decided to come here to come and complete my education because schools there are not really functioning that way. So I decided to come here to complete my secondary education, which is going to help me and my family.
The ongoing violence has forced hundreds of schools to close in Cameroon's Anglophone region, leaving thousands of children without access to an education. Many families have moved to French-speaking towns so their children can go to school. But the influx of displaced children presents many challenges.
They are disturbing us that they come, they don't have documents to prove that they were in school. They come, they don't have their birth certificate, they don't have their report cards, and so it is really heavy on us. Some are even coming, as you can see, if you move into classes now, we are forced to take them in class without uniforms, without any information like that, just to make sure we educate Cameroonians.
At Priscilla's new school, the number of children coming from the troubled Anglophone region has more than tripled this school year.
As schools across the continent wind down towards the end of the year, Africa's high net worth individuals are pursuing residence and citizenship programs to secure international education opportunities for their children. Now, it's a concept called investment migration. International education is seen as a valuable investment in human capital. Amanda Smit is the managing partner and head of South East and Central Africa at Henley Partners, and she joins me now from Cape Town with more details. Amanda, thank you so much for your time. In a nutshell, what is investment migration?
Hello, thank you very much for having me. Well, first of all, to explain to you what investment migration is. So basically, it's an industry whereby it allows individuals and their families to invest into a country in order to obtain an alternative permanent residency status or an alternative citizenship, and it's called citizenship or residency by investment. So for specifically for students wanting to obtain the ability or the right to pursue international education, this is obviously an ideal means for them to establish that ability.
So when then it comes to education motivated applications, how does the process work?
So the process for most of the programs really would consist, first of all, with a private consultation so that we can understand, the family structure, what their ultimate objectives are, and then we would advise them on the best available investment migration program that would ultimately suit their needs. Whether the child's ultimate educational objective is to study in the UK, for instance, or into the United States, we would then be able to advise them whether the UK Tier 1 program might be more suitable versus, let's say, for instance, an EB5 or an E2 investment visa that can also be obtained for the family.
Now, Amanda, I see there also seems to be quite an increase in inquiries from the continent of Africa. Which countries stand out and why?
Well, I can definitely say that we are seeing a phenomenal increase in both inquiries as well as actual applications in South Africa, then also in Kenya, which is very much closely followed by Uganda and the Congo. And of course, if we look at all of these countries, the ultimate objective or the reason for wanting to obtain alternative residency or citizenship can vary from region to region. It can really be consisting of being able to obtain global mobility, business opportunities. Some countries it might even be motivated by political instability. But one thing that all of these countries have in common is the fact that high net worth individuals see an international education as a valuable investment in human capital, both we can say from and academic status, but also professional status. So one thing that also needs to be remembered is that it's getting ever more increasingly difficult for students to obtain study visas, specifically in the US and the UK, and especially particularly for people from Africa. And this is due to, tighter immigration control procedures being put in place due to the influx of refugees into Europe over the last 5 years. So for our high net worth individuals and their families, obtaining the right to international education is key for them. And then not only the educational factor, but also professional if they want to pursue their career after they've completed their studies.
And then for anyone also considering, venturing into this, are there other benefits to investment migration for Africans that they can consider?
Yes, there certainly is. So there are a huge range of benefits. I mean, obviously some of them speak for itself. It includes global mobility, where people have an alternative citizenship or residency that comes with visa-free travel. It immediately increases their current passport strength. It gives them, the ability to extend their business opportunities offshore. But most of these investment migration programs comes with the option whereby you invest in property. So it's a real fixed asset investment that you have that can also be rented out for a duration of time, whereby, an income can be generated from a rental yield point of view, but obviously there's capital appreciation over a number of years. So there really is a very wide variety of benefits on these programs.
So we do appreciate your time in sharing such information. That was Amanda Smit, Managing Partner and Head of Southeast and Central Africa at Henley Partners. Now, before the break, let's now take a look at other news making headlines across the African continent this week. Stay with us, because after the break, we'll have more news and views from across the continent.